So, obviously, in the build-up to Manchester United against Liverpool, it's not just United fans that are watching us, Webby. We've got a Liverpool fan who's called up. Yeah. I think we've got... we should have James from Merseyside. Evening, James. Welcome to Full Time Devils.
Evening, boys. Evening, Webby.
Evening, James.
Oh, it's good to hear from you, James. Now, James, talk to us about your feelings ahead of the game. Are you nervous, James?
Not really. I think the way Manchester United's been playing this season, I don't think it should put any nerves into any Liverpool supporter, really. I think they're there for the taking. I expect, parking the bus, negativity, as always, that you get at Old Trafford the last few years under Mourinho, and the way Klopp's playing, you can't see anyone else but a Liverpool win.
Really? You think you're favourites for the game, pal, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. I think if Manchester United continue how they performed in that first half at Palace, that first half against Chelsea, boring the rest of the country, hopefully Liverpool can bang a couple in.
Sounds a bit familiar, this lad.
He does, yeah.
Tell us
he knows his stuff, doesn't he? He knows his stuff.
Tell us then about Liverpool's biggest threats this weekend. Who are United going to be most scared of?
Well, they're going to be terrified of Salah, aren't they? Because Mourinho was terrified of Salah when he had him at Chelsea, and that's why he got rid of him.
I think we know that this might not be James from Merseyside, Webby. Who do you think this is?
It sounds a little bit like Jamie Carragher.
Is it Jamie Carragher? Carragher, is that you?
Spot on. Got it in one. I'll give it away.
How you doing? I don't know what give it away.
Your knowledge of football.
Yeah, knowledge of football. Hey, listen, Jamie, thank you very much for coming on XS Manchester and Full Time Devils Takeover. Can I throw some questions to you?
Go on, mate.
Right, so this is from Statman Dave. He wants to know, who would you rather, Firmino or Lukaku?
Who would I rather have? Ooh. I think for Liverpool, I'd rather have Firmino.
Oh, yeah.
Because I just think he suits the way Klopp plays. I think Firmino's... to be honest, I think, looking at it, I think Klopp wouldn't swap Firmino for anyone. And I don't think Mourinho would swap Lukaku for Firmino, because Mourinho always has that big sort of target man, doesn't he? You think of Drogba, who he had. He bought Costa at Chelsea with us. Yeah. Klopp, he's got to work for the team, he's got to come back, and Lukaku doesn't do that. He's a completely different player. So I think both men are suited to their own clubs. To be honest, I think they make a really good partnership, because I think in some ways Firmino's more of a someone who dropped him a little bit deeper, really, than an out-and-out centre-forward. But he's provided the goals this season. But I'm a huge fan of it. I think he's one of Liverpool's top players. But I mean, I suppose most people around the country would say Lukaku, because I mean, he's just a goal scorer. He gets goals. He has done for years. Whereas Firmino, I think, I've said before, I think he's one of the most underrated players in the Premier League, and he's a brilliant player. But answer it.
We've got another one here from the United Rantcast. He wants to know, Carragher, the top...
There's a few of them, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a couple of them about the top 3 qualities you look for in a centre-back.
Let me think. Reading the game, I think, is the most important thing for a centre-back, or understanding the game. I think your positional play is vital, really. I think in the modern game, pace has to be up there, because a lot of the top teams now push it really high, and defenders have got to, you've got to have pace. You leave a lot of space in behind at times, and you have to use that pace. So I'd be knackered in these things. And third one, probably a bit of, you want to put your body on the line, don't you? You think of Man United, you think of Vidic, what he used to do for Man United as well. You want that. You'd love to have that in one of your centre-backs, or Steve Bruce, those type of players. So, yeah, they're the 3 qualities I'd look for.
Third one, not good looks, no?
No, you got no Phil Jones.
I got one from Doc Joshy, and he wants to know, when this game happens on a weekend, how tempting is it to sort of lose your head as a pundit and become a Liverpool fan that you are? Is it hard to not be that sort of professional pundit?
It is hard, to be honest, because I think your own club makes you emotional, whereas other clubs, you try and keep your analyst head on, if you like, and say exactly what's right and what's wrong. To be honest, when you get emotional with your own team, it's more when they lose, really. I think when they win, obviously, I'd be delighted if Liverpool win a weekend, but you're still trying to look at how Liverpool win or Man United lost it. What makes you really angry is obviously when your own side lose and then you're going through things, and at times you can be a little bit too critical of your own team, and you start thinking and shouting like a supporter really does in the pub after the game. And I think we know what it's like, don't we, when you've had a few bevies after the game, you're all angry, you wake up the next morning and think, well, it wasn't that bad, I shouldn't have said that, or I got a bit carried away, because that's what football does to all of us.
Jamie, obviously, I'm going to put a question to you now. If you was United manager, where would you play Pogba in the team? What position do you think is most effective for Manchester United?
Well, the position he's played the last few weeks has been in that midfield three that everyone's been crying out for him to play because he played there for Juventus. But to be honest, I think it's got to the stage where Mourinho's actually, once you start trying people in different roles all the time, it shows you something's not right. You know, so he's played him centre midfield, he's played him on the left, he's played him as a number 10, he played him a little bit wideish left away at Everton. And there's no doubt he's got unbelievable quality, and some of the things I see him do on a football pitch do take your breath away. But it's can he put it together for an actual game and be part of a team? I watched him on Monday at Palace, and I was watching him in Sanchez, and you just like, I think I said at half time, like two kids in the schoolyard. That's what it felt like. The two best players, and probably the best players in terms of talent in the Man United team, I would say, in terms of ability and things they can do. But there doesn't seem the structure you'd expect from a Man United team, or certainly a Mourinho team, and those two players, or certainly Pogba's in it. But if I was playing him, I'd look at that position. He is playing in that left of a midfield three, but he's still got to show a bit more discipline and also a little bit more better decision making, really. And when I watch Pogba play, it feels like he feels he has to do something every time the ball comes. Where if you think of the great midfielders for Man United, say a Keane or a Scholes, not exact carbon copies of Pogba, but a lot of the time they're just getting it and passing it and getting it, passing it, and then they'll do a special thing every 15-20 minutes, and you go home and you remember that, and also you remember the fact that they never lost possession too often, whereas Pogba's always trying something, so it can only come off 50% of the time, so 50% of the time he's lost the ball or put you in a bad position. So I just think he needs to simplify his game.
I want to ask you a question here from Full-Time Devils. Now, you've done something as a fan, as a United fan myself, that I can only dream of. Please tell us, Carragher, how does it feel to score for Manchester United?
It wasn't as good as I thought it did, to be honest. No. It took a couple of bevies to get over it.
Carragher, go on then. How do you feel like the game is actually going to go on the weekend? How do you actually see it realistically playing out? Do you think Mourinho's going to park the bus?
Well, to be honest, I think the fact Man United won at Palace and Chelsea never won. I mean, I think Mourinho mentioned, I was at it before or after the game, of the points difference between him and Chelsea, which shows, I think, even for the last few weeks, Mourinho's still been worrying a little bit about missing out on top four. But I think there's no way United will get caught now by Chelsea. So it's not a game United have to win. So I think with sort of 15-20 minutes to go, if the game was a draw, and I don't think United or Jose would be making changes to try and win the game, really. And there's no doubt he'll definitely have a plan to sort of nullify Liverpool's front three and still trying to find a way of, getting at their weaknesses. That's the way he manages. I think he even did that in the Chelsea game, even though, United deserved to him the second half performance. Early on, it was a little bit sort of standing off, trying to stop Chelsea rather than taking the game to them. So I don't expect anything different. And I think Mourinho will go into the game and think, well, it's a game I'd like to win, but I'm certainly not going to lose it.
Well, it's going to be an interesting game. Webby, what do you think the predictions are? Come on.
I always go for 3-1.
You always go for 3-1.
I think it's going to be a tight game. Yeah. We've got to look after. I think he's going to go 3 at the back. I really do, to nullify Liverpool's threat. Because the front going forward, I have to admit that Liverpool look very, very good going forward. So would I take a draw? Yeah, but I don't want a 0-0 boring draw. I want an entertaining 3-3 draw, but I think it'll be 3-1 United.
Carragher, can we get a prediction from you?
I said 1-1 when I done it with someone today, so I'll have to stick with that.
You go 1-1. Carragher,
I think, look, I can't see Liverpool score. That's it, Old Trafford. I think it's only City who won there, haven't they, in the last couple of years, so it is a difficult goal.
Well, James from Merseyside, thank you very much for your call, James. Pop in next time United against Liverpool and we'll have a good debate.
Not a problem, boys. I'll be on the phone again next week. Or I'll be on the phone Monday after.
You call us Monday, see what happens.
I'll see you tomorrow, pal.